Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fishbowl. As always, I'm Preston.
And I'm Rayna.
Welcome back, guys. We have a lot to talk about on this episode of the Fishbowl. Yes,
As always.
just
of
us two again, back here
Just
in our
the two of us.
back here in the studio. Always going to be having a transparent talk about mental health, and I'll get us started real quick with something I saw last week. And we've talked about, love and relationships a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. And last week we discussed the idea of the choices we make and how those can impact our lives. And I saw something that said pretty much every day, relationships, whether they are romantic or friendships, every relationship, friendship is a series of daily choices, choosing that person to be in your lives or choosing that person to be your person or one of your people. What do you think about that?
Well, I would agree. We always have a choice. And I think that's the decision that absolutely. I mean, it's a choice of who you pick up the phone and are you going to answer that text? Are you going to answer that phone call? Are you going to respond to that TikTok or that tweet or whatever? And then who you decide to come into work and your coworkers, or it's absolutely a choice. And I think as you go through life, people always say, well, you have me around because you need me. And it's like looking at certain people, you should never need anyone. It should always be a choice that you want those people around.
I agree. I think in similar context to what the quote was saying was, I feel like some people, especially when in romantic relationships or even friendships, like, if you're going after this friendship with, I don't know, I hate to say it like this, but if somebody who's more popular, you're like, oh, I really need them to be my friend. I want them to be my friend. So then, or I really want them to make them fall in love with me. But there's no such thing as really falling in love. And then it's just like going to be there. Like love doesn't just stick around once you fall in love. Love and friendships then becomes a daily choice to retain.
Sure. I mean, some people look at it as it's work. I disagree with love shouldn't be work. Friendship shouldn't be work. Is it maintenance? Is it a level of maintenance? Yes, but it shouldn't be work for you.
No.
It should be an enjoyment. And yes, it's an effort of time, whether it's responding to a message or the effort of
remembering something that somebody says to you.
I was just going to say that. Hold on, let me finish. The whole thing for me is remembering special dates. I am not on social media that gives us the reminder that it's someone's birthday. So you give the 900 happy birthdays because Facebook tells you it's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
So the special birthday messages come when I get the text messages, or the text messages come to me from people who really truly do know me and know who I am and can remember that it is my birthday without it being on Facebook. For the longest time, I had my birthday, I think, on Facebook as New Year's Day. And the people who would message me as happy birthday, I'm like, are you really my friend? How do you not know my birthday is not New Year's Day?
Yeah, it's remembering dates like that. It's remembering little things, like things that are important to your friends, favorite things of your partners. And then it's like not just using those favorite things when it's convenient,
Right.
not for an occasion. Like, hey, like you recommend your partner's favorite snack for the movie night you guys are having. Show up when you're going to see your friend with an extra bag of their favorite chips, if you guys are watching a game or playing video games together, like little things like that, and I know we've talked about it in the past, like little things go a long way for a lot of people. And those are just little things that play into those choices of romantic relationships, friendships, and all that stuff. And I think we can keep going and talking about like just the importance of friendships, and also maybe we can touch on the importance or the idea of spontaneous things in life. Some people get very overwhelmed by the idea of spontaneous trips or adventures or things. And then other people thrive for this idea of living spontaneously and doing the random things. Like a great example of this is one of my friends. This past week, I had the opportunity to go see, as you know, Jack Johnson.
Yes.
One of my favorite artists of all time. Very, very, special artist to me. Listened to him since as long as I can remember, thanks to my parents, like playing Jack Johnson, and the Curious George movie was on 24/7 in my house growing up. So I think but the best part about it was my buddy texted me and he goes, I'm leaving in an hour and a half to go see Jack Johnson in West Palm Beach. Do you want in? And I was in the middle of a workout and I was like, yeah. Like it completely derailed anything that I thought I was going to do for the rest of the day. But at the end of the day, I boiled it down to I had the freedom to not have any, commitments or plans. And I ended up having such an amazing time. And the atmosphere of a Jack Johnson concert is exactly what you probably think it would be. Very happy people living in the moment, quality friendships, dancing, moving around. Well,
Jack Johnson's music in general is just amazing. And it's so calming. And one of the things is that I always remember when you were little, always having that on, and especially because New Grandma was such a Curious George fan.
A Curious George fan.
So that was one of the reasons that was always a big part, and always playing that. But having that opportunity and what you're saying, not everybody. And I guess the one thing to segue in is if you don't have the ability to just kind of stop what you're doing and go to a concert, because not everyone has those opportunities.
No, not everybody
in
does.
life.
And like, that's something I'm very, very grateful for. But I think I know where you're going with this. So I'll let you take it.
Yeah. Like, how do you compensate for that to be? And I think this segues into something we've spoke about previously, is being present. And I know when we had Miss Lydia on about the journey of how all of our, and it's about being present and not worrying, kind of taking things hour by hour. And I am so big on the writing things down, scheduling sometimes our downtime. I just had a great conversation with one of my friends in office that they were in school and being in college. And the fact of being in college, some people are lifelong students. Why do you think they're lifelong students?
Because they just enjoy it. They want to learn.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons. But also, when you're in school, you're structured. You have deadlines, you have routines, you're held, there's accountability. You are always on some type of routine, and you're naturally forced into a routine. So people get scared to stop almost being in school or to be in that structure because they don't know how to kind of come outside of it. So when they're not in that routine or not in that structured environment, that's where they're like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with my downtime. I need to structure. And am I kind of holding themselves to a higher expectation that's not necessarily even realistic? So it was such a great example, kind of wrapping all into what we're talking about right now, of live in the moment. I mean, love that you were able to do Jack Johnson.
I think if you don't have the freedom to do the spontaneous trip that day, I do think it's important that you carve time still to do maybe more structured or planned things like that.
3 to 8 minutes is my rule. I always say, give yourself 3 to 8 minutes. I worked with someone that was a manager at a major grocery store for a few years back, and they were so stressed. And being in a high management position in probably any major corporate place, I'm sure would be stressful. But they would come in, and even scheduling was difficult for them. But I saw them for probably about a year and a half, and they were like, I never sit down. I can't make time for myself. I feel guilty if I'm sitting down. And I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set a timer on your phone on the hour. On the hour, when that goes off on the hour, I want you to just stop what you're doing, go to your office for 3 minutes. We're going to do some breathing for 3 minutes, some grounding exercises for 3 minutes. I mean, they looked at me like I was crazy, like that it was not going to do anything. And I'm like, trust me, try it. I'm telling you, it changed a world of difference, because think about it, 3 minutes for a 10-hour shift.
Yeah.
Finally, now they're getting their break in. They're now getting to have some time to themselves. And then finally, we went to every other hour. We increased that 3 minutes to 6 minutes. And then finally, they were their job satisfaction actually increased. They were actually happier at work because they carved out that time for them. Even so simple, I said, I want you to just go to your office, sit in your chair, and listen to one song. Pull up one song from start to finish. If the phone rings, don't answer it. If someone knocks on your door, don't answer it until that song's over. And it was just so simplistic as that.
It's just the idea of like having control over your own life, you know, and it's also like that idea of work-life balance. You know, you're taking that's now 30 minutes a day. Right. You know, during a 10-hour shift that they get back to themselves, of them breathing, of them listening to music they enjoy. Like that's huge. That's huge.
Made
like
such a world
such
of difference for them and their job satisfaction. It was so exciting to see, because then obviously we tapered down and we went to every other hour, but we increased the time. Yeah. So then finally they were sitting down at their desk having lunch once a day, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I was able to carve this time out for myself.
Yeah. And I think like on a greater scale, like, you know, you can increase that 3 to 8 minutes to, you know, a couple, like not at work, but carve out a couple hours of your week, whether it's away from work, that you're, you know, not responding to emails while you're at home, or checking your phone, texting coworkers, bosses, things like that. Not even texting friends, maybe. You know, it's either being
okay.
In the
Hold
moment.
on, pause on that for a second, because I have a great. I try that. I try that at night sometimes, because I'll say, okay, after like 8 or 8:30. I mean, obviously, if it's an emergency, that's different. You know, obviously, if I'm not responding, hopefully people will call. But then there's some people that'll be like, well, why don't you text me back? Why are you know? So then if you turn around, are you being selfish if you say, hey, I'm turning off my phone at 8:30 to have some me time, to turn and say, I just want some peace. I don't want to be on my phone. Because for me, my phone then turns into, I'm going to check emails. I'm going to respond to work.
Exactly. And I think it's like people who are good for you and people who are in your circle, they'll understand that, you know, they're going to be.
Good point. Yep. If they're good for you,
they're going to want to understand that, and probably they'll join you in that, you know, they probably.
That's a great point.
Oh, you know, like, that's fine. Text me when you're back on your phone. Oh, enjoy your time to yourself. If it's for the rest of the night, text me in the morning. Sleep well. You know, like, if it's for a couple hours, hey, I'll be back on my phone in an hour. I just am deep, you know, and like, you don't even necessarily owe everybody an explanation. I do think in some regards, if you're going off the grid for, you know, the night where now you're not going to be by your phone or on your phone for 12 hours, you probably should send a text to somebody you care about. Hey, I'm putting my phone down for the night. I need just to kind of a break and to kind of just decompress from my phone.
Absolutely.
The people who care about you, that they'll understand.
That's a great
But at the end of the day, if you're just ghosting somebody for 12 hours a day, then, then that's probably not great. You know what I mean? Like if you're texting back and forth with somebody and then you just don't hear from them for 12 hours, it's kind of like, what did I do wrong? Or are you okay? Like one of the two. Like, did I say something wrong, or are you in danger or injured? So
gotcha.
I feel like as long as it's like, it goes back. I feel like every week we say this, but it's just so true how important communication is, especially with other people's mental health in this age of communication where everybody can communicate within seconds with each other. The age of just healthy, proper communication is so big and massive that like it is a worlds of difference. If you are literally like, if I'm the person and my friend, if we're having, talking all day and my friend goes, hey, I'm not going to respond for the rest of the night. I'm going to bed a little early and I'm just putting my phone down on the charger. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. You're not like just leaving me in the dark, but it's just like, okay, if I don't hear from you, then it's like, okay, it's either I don't know what you're doing and like maybe you don't value my friendship as much as I think we do. Like maybe we're not as good for each other as I thought. Like then those thoughts start spiraling up. I'm obviously working on that in my own regard, as everybody in the world is always working on their own things. My thing is going to be different than your thing. Your thing's going to be different than his thing. His thing's going to be different than her thing.
Sure.
But yeah, it just boils down to proper communication and, carving out that time for yourself is key. Whether it is, hey, I'm going to start going out of town, even if it's for a good example is for Melbourne, if it's going over to Orlando on Sundays, or if it's, I'm going to go out of Melbourne to Cocoa Beach, or I'm going to go to the Avenues and go to the movie theater because it's out of Melbourne once a week.
Right.
That change of scenery, that idea of, I'm doing something purely for myself.
Right.
Not because somebody told me, hey, you need to do this. Hey, I want you to do this. Hey, you should really do this because I'm recommending it to you. No, I'm going to make my own thing. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I feel like that is as grand as booking a week-long vacation once a year. And it is as simple as going into your office and listening to your favorite song once a day while you're at work. Those are two completely different ends of the spectrum, but I think they both provide the same idea of self-care and I'm going to even say self-worth, because
I will agree. I'll agree with you there.
Self-care is self-worth.
Yes. Yes. So going into that and segueing into that, everybody's back to school. We've got our high school and all of elementary, and colleges are now starting to kick back in. Mm-hmm. So that's even more important of balancing our time. And, with everybody out there, I definitely know that can increase some stress for people. So making sure that everybody is definitely staying on top of their stress levels and knowing to definitely reach out. We see a kind of a dip in people saying, "Oh, I got too much going on. I've got to cancel," or
I know we've talked about this before, but don't cancel.
Please reschedule.
It's so important to keep it a part of your routine as your routine changes. It's so important, even if it goes to bi-weekly.
Telehealth, we really
continue to get it in.
Continue to get it in.
And if you are not a current client of Foundations and want to check out all of our amazing episodes, you can either go to youtube.com/The Fishbowl Podcast. Find us on YouTube. We are also now on Instagram. Foundations has officially started an Instagram page. It is foundations.counseling.2019. One more time, that's foundations.counseling.2019. And as well as you can find the link to these episodes on our Facebook page as well. That is Foundations Counseling on Facebook. But if you are not a current client and are thinking about getting into mental health counseling, you can check out our website as well. That is www.fc321.org, and you'll see our amazing team and all of their profiles on that website, so you can see which therapist would be the best fit for you. Schedule an intake, call our office up. Jamie or Bree will be happy to assist you and get you scheduled, because as this school season is starting up, as we're starting to get into the busy season, if you do work in things like retail, you're starting to see things pick up, because we will be creeping into holiday season before we even know it. So make sure you stay on top of your mental health, guys. It is imperative. But
absolutely.
I think with that is all we have for you guys this week. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Fishbowl. And as always, I'm Preston.
And I'm Rayna.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Be
Take
good
it easy
to each other.
Peace. Bye.